Welcome to Scary Story, a place where shadows whisper and nightmares breathe. On stormy nights, when thunder splits the sky and the rain pounds like fists on your windows, sometimes the hunger you feel isn't your own. Tonight's tale is one of those nights. This is Delivery from Hell. 15-year-old Jackson was home alone that night. His parents had gone out of town, leaving him in the creaking old house with only the storm for company. Rain hammered the roof. The wind howled like a starving wolf. Jackson's stomach growled. He pulled out his phone and ordered his favorite, pepperoni pizza from Tony's Pizza. He tracked the order on the app, watching the little icon move closer to his street. Then, suddenly, a notification flashed across the screen. Your delivery rider has been in a minor accident. Your order has been transferred to a new rider. Jackson frowned but shrugged. Things happen, right? Minutes later, another notification appeared. Your delivery rider has arrived. Jackson walked to the front door. No headlights, no footsteps, no rider. Just the storm raging in the dark. He checked the app again. The rider's name and picture were gone. All that remained was a single red icon, pulsing right in front of his house. Then came the knock, soft, hollow. Jackson opened the door. No one there, just a steaming pizza box on the porch. He picked it up, smiling with relief. But when he opened the box, his heart froze. The pizza was stone cold and smeared with blood-red handprints. He dropped it instantly. The storm drowned out his pounding heartbeat. Then, another knock. Louder. This time, when he opened the door, a tall man stood there, his face hidden in shadow, eyes burning with a red glow. His grin stretched too wide, teeth sharp and wet. I brought your pizza, the figure said, voice scraping like rusted metal. But it looks like it got cold. Jackson couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The man extended a hand, long fingers too thin, too pale, like raw meat stitched together. Want me to heat it up for you? He hissed. Darkness swallowed Jackson whole. When he woke, he was in his own bed. His parents had returned, hovering over him, terrified. Doctors later said he was fine. No injuries, no illness, just a deep, unshakable sleep. Jackson barely remembered anything. Only one detail slipped from his lips, over and over like a chant. Echo ride, pepperoni pizza. When his parents checked his phone, they found a strange app installed. A delivery app they had never seen before. Its name glowed in red letters, Echo Ride. The screen blinked. A notification appeared. Your delivery has been completed. Please rate your rider. They say hunger always comes back, but sometimes it's not your hunger at all. So next time you order late at night when thunder shakes the walls and you hear a knock at the door, ask yourself, do you really want to answer it? This was Delivery from Hell. You've been watching Scary Story. If you're brave enough, subscribe. The shadows are always hungry for another soul. In the cold silence of the Virginia mountains, there lingers a curse. A man once lived here, cruel and violent, but after his bloody death, his soul was denied peace. Now, for over a century, his spirit roams these woods, hungry, restless, and waiting. Emily Carter, 21, had just inherited her grandmother's old house, a lonely place, hidden deep in the forest. Her only companion was Shadow, her loyal black German shepherd. That very first night, it began. The walls echoed with scratching sounds. shadows shifted at the corner of her vision, and in the mirror, for just a fleeting second, she thought she saw the face of a man, cold, unblinking, watching. Terrified, Emily reached her hand down from the bed. A warm, wet tongue brushed against her skin. She exhaled in relief. Shadow, it's just you. But as the hours crept by, the air grew colder, the whispers grew louder, a man's voice, deep, broken, whispering her name. Still, whenever she reached out, that same tongue was there, licking her hand in the dark. Just before dawn, a loud crash pulled her into the bathroom. Her eyes froze, her heart stopped. Shadow hung from the ceiling, his body limp, his blood dripping into a crimson pool below, and on the wall, written in black, as if carved from the very shadows themselves. Spirits can also lick too. Emily's body shook with terror. The realization crashed into her. It hadn't been Shadow at all night long. It was him, the spirit of the man who once lived here, a restless soul, a predator of fear. And still, to this very night, if a young woman dares to sleep in that house, when her hand falls gently beneath the bed, something unseen waits in the dark, something cold, something hungry. Spirits can also lick too. On the outskirts of a quiet Midwest town, there stood an old Victorian house, paint peeling, windows broken, its roof sagging like the bones of a corpse. Locals avoided it, crossing the street whenever they passed. Kids dared each other to touch its door, but no one ever stayed longer than a heartbeat. Everyone in town knew its history. Years ago, the Miller family lived there, a father, mother, and their young daughter, Lily. But one stormy night, neighbors heard screams tearing through the rain. By the time the sheriff arrived, the Millers were gone. No bodies, no trace, only blood splattered across the walls, as if the house itself had swallowed them whole. Since then, strange things were whispered. Lights glowing in the windows when no power lines connected. Children's laughter echoing in the halls. And sometimes, a lullaby carried on the wind. Soft, broken, like a mother singing from the grave. Decades later, a group of college friends decided to prove the legends wrong. Armed with cameras and flashlights, they broke into the house one October night. At first, it was just dust and silence, the smell of mold, the creak of rotting floorboards. Then one of them, Sarah, found a child's toy horse sitting neatly in the corner of the living room. Its eyes seemed to follow her. "Guys," she whispered, "I thought they said everything was taken out of here years ago." Suddenly, the toy tipped over by itself. The friends laughed nervously, blaming the wind. But then, upstairs, footsteps echoed, slow, heavy, coming closer. The air turned icy. Their breath misted in the dark. One of the guys, Eric, called out, "Hello? Anyone there?" A voice answered, high-pitched, fragile, a little girl's voice. "Come play with me." Their flashlights flickered, beams catching glimpses of shadows that weren't their own. Panic set in. They bolted for the door, but the front door wouldn't budge. No matter how hard they pulled, it was as if the house itself was holding them inside. The walls began to drip with fresh blood. Faces formed in the wallpaper, twisted mouths, hollow eyes, silently screaming. Sarah turned to see a figure at the top of the stairs, a woman in a torn nightgown, face pale and cracked like porcelain, eyes weeping black tears. Behind her stood a man, his jaw unhinged, blood dripping down his chest. and in front of them, a small girl holding her toy horse. "We never left," the child whispered. "Now, neither will you." The house shook as the doors slammed shut. The next morning, neighbors found the house silent again, empty. But in the living room, 4 new handprints, bloody, smeared across the wall. The legend had claimed more souls. They say some tragedies never die. They linger, feeding on the living, pulling them into the same fate. So, if you ever pass by an old house that feels too quiet, remember, silence can scream the loudest. This was Haunted House of Tragedy. You're watching Scary Story. If you dare, subscribe, because every house has its ghosts, and we'll bring them to you.